Hi there, and welcome to PYSci. We will talk now about how to build a powerful poster and concentrate on a few technical things that you would need to consider when designing your poster. Let's first analyze the visibility of the data on your poster as a function of where the data actually is. There are two poster orientations called landscape and portrait, and soon you will see why I personally like to present my posters as a landscape. So if the icon on the left represents a potential visitor to your poster, you will see if you're presenting a landscape, there is a good part of a green, good visibility area. This means that your visitor can easily read and concentrate on a figure or a text. There is also a medium visible part, which I mark here in yellow, which would mean that the visitor should, for example, lean a bit or come closer to see what's written there. If you're presenting a portrait poster at the same height, you will immediately see that the green area is smaller, the medium visibility area, the yellow area, is also smaller, and all of a sudden you have another area, which I called a bad visibility or red area. To read a text here or to see a figure here, your visitor would need to bend, and this is an effort that not many visitors would like to engage during the poster session. So whatever is in this area would be invisible. You can make this a bit better by putting your portrait orientation poster a bit higher. So instead of a red area, you will have two yellow areas. However, your upper yellow area is actually area of your title, the most important part of your poster. Hence, I always prefer landscape if possible. When it comes to poster readability, there is a simple rule. The smallest text on your poster should be visible from a distance of 2 to 3 meters. When you calculate that to what should you actually use when you're preparing your poster, it comes something to this. If you use sans serif font like Arial, which I actually highly recommend, the title should be 96 plus points. You can use bigger title if you have less words in the title. Authors should be written with 48 points, headings and conclusions with 36 to 48 points, and the text with 24 points. But please keep text to the minimum. Let's consider now how can you organize your data on the poster. One usual way, and actually very good and efficient way, is to divide your poster in columns. 3 to 4 if you have a landscape, or 2 to 3 columns if you have a portrait orientation poster, and then just put your data from up to down, from left to right. This is called a vertical flow poster. You can also use a horizontal flow in which you actually divide your poster into rows and then you present your data from left to right and then from up to bottom. However, this works only if you're presenting a portrait orientation poster. And here is why the horizontal flow does not work on the landscape posters. If you consider that the line of sight of your visitor is 1/3 or 1/2 of the entire length of your landscape poster, it becomes immediately easy to see that if this visitor is reading the method section of this example poster, it's no problem to read the block of text presented here. However, your visitor would need to move from left to right of your poster to go throughout whole method. And if you consider that there are other people standing on your poster, it may be a difficult task. So this is not a good way to present. Even worse is in the introduction. Not only it has a lot of text, but in introduction, your visitor would need to move from the far left-right of your poster to the far right end of your poster just to read one sentence. Then he or she should go back and read the whole sentence again, and then go back and read the whole sentence again, which would actually mean that your visitor would need to run on your poster, a task that not many visitors or not many attendees would actually fulfill. Let's discuss now poster focus areas. Number 1 demarcates the main or most important focus area in which your catchy title is and the most important figures or data sets. Number 2 demarcates the secondary emphasis areas, with one on the left being a bit more important because we read from left to right. Number 3 is a supporting area in which many people actually put their method section. And we finish with the number 4, which I call a supplementary area. If you have a poster which is a portrait orientation, this schematic looks exactly the same, with one exception, that at the bottom of the poster there is so-called that value area or the red visibility area. Here you should not place any important data or text on your poster. There are also a few smaller things that you should keep in mind when organizing your poster. These things are usually not mentioned in how to build your poster sessions, however, I would like to emphasize them here. So your poster will be viewed in a hall that is usually too loud and overcrowded with people. In the same time, the air is usually too warm and it's usually not fresh. Finally, the poster sessions are organized usually during the breaks, so the priority most scientists set are toilet, food, poster. You should keep this in mind because your aim is to attract the audience and you need to know the audience priorities. Okay, let's talk now about how to build different poster sections and what you should put in or not. Let's first look at the most important part of your poster, and that's a title line. As we said before, the title should attract the audience in 3 seconds. So it should be concise and catchy. It should be short. It should be 8 words maximum. And please be creative. Below the title, of course, you will put the name of people that work on the study and their affiliation. If there are many people and a lot of affiliations, you can move affiliations to the bottom of your poster. The names are important. On the left part of the title line, you usually put a logo of the organization you work for. You can also put your email in a title line. With that, the people can easily find it and write it down in case they want to contact you further. Also, people suggest to use or put your picture on the title line so the interested visitor, if you were not there, looks for you. This works very well on a smaller conferences like GRC or Keystone Symposium. However, if you go to a big meetings, if you're not on your poster, nobody will look for you. The second most important section of your poster is, of course, the abstract. What? The abstract? Isn't the abstract in the abstract book? Yes, it is. Hence, the abstract should not be on your poster. It just takes a lot of space. Yes, I know that some meeting organizers are asking you to put the abstract on your poster. If you absolutely need to put it, I would put it on the bottom of the poster. Even more, I would put a section, abstract, and then write, abstract is in the abstract book, page that and this. It's funny and it is informative. Okay, but what you need to put is a bit of research background. And this is a nice example from the internet I found, in which the authors put a very extensive explanation of the research field with a lot of references, a lot of text, and oh my God, who is reading this? You should not put text in your presentation, bullet points. Remember, people are usually there on your poster because the queue for the toilet was too long. So if you remember that, you will also know that they will not going to read this. This is why you are there. You are going to tell them and you are going to summarize that in a few nice sentences and you will smile in the same time. The same applies for discussion section. Discussion section should not be on a poster. That's a section which is reserved for scientific papers. You are there to discuss your science with the visitors and your audience. Is that clear? Okay, let's look now what I call the hammer sections. So after your title, most powerful sections on your poster are research question and conclusion sections. This is where the audience gets what you are doing and what are your findings. And let's look where the most researchers put these two sections. Research question sections goes to the field number 2. While conclusion sections, your powerful sections, are usually placed in the least visible section of your poster, section number 4. So please correct that. You should move conclusions to the field number 2, and actually you can rename it into findings. Use bullet points and big fonts to emphasize your findings. If you do that, you can actually remove the question section, because when you put the conclusions, any scientist, or actually most of the people, can deduce what the question was. In that way, you free a bit of space, and you have now a field number 4 reserved for references, acknowledgements, affiliations, grants, and stuff like that. Let's talk now a bit about the method section in your poster. This is an example I found on the internet in which the authors provide a very detailed method section. However, they overlooked one very important thing, and that is, nobody on this earth is going to do experiments or reproduce your data based on the methods on your poster. This belongs to the paper. Your method section should be ad for you to tell the story. You should make visual ads to explain how you did the experiment. This should not be used for your audience to repeat your experiments. If they are interested, you can then send them by email or whatever the detailed method. You should use this knowledge to attract the audience and not to make them run away. When it comes to which result should you show on your poster, plus minus the rule is the same as for the oral presentation. You should think about your audience. You should use and present strong data. And please don't overcrowd your poster. White spaces are perfectly okay. And of course, yes, you can be creative in making your poster. However, creativity has its limits, because too creative is sometimes too messy for others. And here are a few examples that can expand your poster to the limits. For example, you can have an iPad on a poster. It's really cool when you want to present a new method or an experiment, especially if it's a behavioral experiment, or anything else that is connected to your poster and will add to its attractiveness. Of course, don't forget to take your iPod once you're away from your poster. Also, you can use QR bars instead of poster printouts. It's really cool. It's 21st century and you should use it. Most of us have the smartphones that can read this, and in a second you will have the poster in a high resolution on your phone screen. You can also use 3D images. You can use them if this adds to explanation, for example, geography or something, but you can also use them for fun, and you have some 3D Googles ready for the audience to look at your graphs and data. You can also use unusual poster style, but be careful. These are two examples of great posters that will attract everybody. But be careful with this, and always consult with your colleagues. What do they think about your creativity process? And please avoid print and ensemble type of posters. They don't only look bad, but they give also impression that you don't care much about your audience and you did not take enough time to design a great poster. Yes, the information, scientific information is important, but there are other 999 posters around with scientific information and look good. If the transportation is your biggest problem, you can do one of these fancy poster printing on textile that you can fold, put in your bag and unfold, and it really looks cool. Also avoid distracting elements. Having background picture is good. For example, this poster is great and it actually goes along with the guy t-shirt color. However, reading the data from this woman mount would be very difficult for me. In the same way, if you have background picture behind your title, it will make your title unreadable. And the title is the 3-second thing that you have to attract your audience with. So, if you are taking these advices in building your posters and you are spending some time in practicing your designer skills, your powerful poster session would look exactly like this throughout the meeting. And that would be really cool.